Every spring, the same thing.
Honey, why don't you just take it into town and have it worked on?
No, I'll get it.
Son, are you going to play practice tonight? Yeah. Oh, what time is it again? 6 o'clock. Yeah, right. Okay, I gotta get to class. Yeah, see you later, Scott. I hope. Hi, Carrie. Thanks, Scott. No.
Hey, good morning, students. Let's settle down. Quiet, please. We have a lot of work to do today.
I've got a new book.
Go!
Office of Emergency Management, this is Bob. Oh, hi, Keith. Yeah, I sure did. Actually, I just got the plan this morning. Thanks a lot for sending that over. I'm sure that next week when our subcommittee meets for the LAPC that we'll want to be taking a look at that. Okay, yeah, I'll let you go. Again, thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Well, it looks like it's a fairly normal day here on the Kenai. People are out in their yards catching up on spring chores. Some are out enjoying the country. Now, down at the fire station, the Nikiski Fire Department is keeping up on their training. People in the Office of Emergency Management are going about their planning duties efficiently. Over at the school, teachers and administrators are busy presenting lessons, preparing lunches, and starting to think about the coming summer vacation. They're also prepared with a plan just in case some emergency should arise. They know what to do. Now, here at Unical's ammonia plant, the employees are making sure things continue to run safely. In fact, this year, they spent over 17,000 employee hours training and preparing just so they would know how to respond should there be an emergency. But what about you? Would you know what to do in an emergency?
Mike? Honey, what's that?
I think it's the chemical plant alarm. Seems like it's been going on longer than the normal test, though. Maybe there's a problem over there. Maybe they've spilled some ammonia or something.
An ammonia spill? That could be serious.
Could if it's big enough.
Honey, I better go to the school and get Scott.
Darlene, wait a minute. Let's go in and check the radio first and see if there really is a problem. Scott will be as safe at the school as anywhere. Come on, let's get inside.
You're right.
If you were suddenly confronted with a situation like the one Mike and Darlene just faced, would you know what to do? If there were a major chemical spill in your area, would you know how best to protect yourself and your family? Well, for the next few moments, we'd like to show you a simple and effective method of protecting yourself if there were a chemical emergency in your area. It's called Shelter in Place. Now, there's nothing complicated about this information, just some basic procedures that can be used by anyone and could save your life. Now remember, chemical emergencies can occur nearly anywhere, including areas other than chemical plants. Hospitals, dry cleaners, hardware stores, gas stations, just to name a few. They all store chemicals. And of course, there is some risk involved when chemicals are transported from one place to another. Now, if such an emergency should happen near you, the important thing is knowing what to do. And we're going to share with you 5 basic steps that you can use to protect yourself in such an emergency. The 5 steps of shelter in place. And Mike and Darlene have already started in the right direction. They went inside immediately, and that's good. It's the first step. Now, the purpose of sheltering in place is to protect yourself from airborne chemicals. Mike and Darlene's house provides a good protective barrier. Now, moving inside was step one. Step two is also simple. Close and lock all doors and windows.
Now, in summary, residents in the affected area should remain indoors and follow shelter-in-place procedures. Be sure your windows and doors are tightly closed and keep tuned to this station for further instructions and information.
Oh, we gotta get the windows.
Again, we want to remind you to keep tuned to this station.
The more quickly and the more tightly you secure all windows and doors, the less likely it is that any contaminated air will enter the house. Now again, move people and pets indoors immediately. Then, close and lock all windows and doors to provide as tight a seal as possible. Now the first two steps are fairly easy, and so is the third step. Shut off any fan or device that moves air into, around, or out of your home. If your house is equipped with a forced air heating or air conditioning system, you should adjust the thermostat to shut the system off. A wood stove or fireplace can draw air into a home. If it's burning, shut it down as much as possible. Otherwise, close the damper and secure its doors and vents tightly. Any electric fans or vents that let air into or out of the house should be shut off or closed.
Mike, where's that list? The one on sheltering? Remember, we got it a few months ago?
I think it's in the phone book, the one in there by the phone.
What about Chuck? We better call and warn him.
Move inside immediately. Close all windows and doors. Turn off ventilation systems. Go into and seal a room.
He's not answering.
Oh, that's right. He said he was going fishing today.
I'm going to call the school. No, that'll just tie up the phone lines.
Oh, you're right. Scott will be okay there. The schools know what to do. We need to get into a smaller room.
Now, Darlene's idea about calling their neighbor Chuck was okay, just so she didn't tie up the phone lines too long. During emergencies, phone lines tend to become clogged, often with unnecessary calls. It's a good idea to keep any calls you need to make short and to the point. This leaves room on the system for professional emergency responders. And what about calling the school? Now, in this case, Darlene was right. Calling the school would probably only tie up important phone lines, maybe preventing the school from receiving some necessary emergency information. Now, remember how Mike and Darlene considered driving to the school?
I better go to the school and get Scott.
Darlene, wait a minute. Let's go in and check the radio and find out if there really is a problem. Scott will be as safe at the school as anywhere. Come on, let's get inside.
You're right.
Unless you're instructed by emergency officials to evacuate, you should shelter in place where you are. Leaving your home or workplace and trying to flee or go after someone could expose you to a much more dangerous situation.
Please initiate our shelter-in-place procedures. Repeating, please initiate our shelter-in-place procedures.
Attention, please. We're going to do a shelter-in-place drill just like we practiced it. Window team, door team, vent teams, go to work. Stay calm, everyone.
Now, it's only natural to want to go to someone you love in moments of danger. But in this case, Scott and his parents would be safer right where they are. The schools have plans in place for just such an emergency. In fact, schools are often used as community shelters. The best thing to do is shelter where you are unless directed by emergency officials to move somewhere else. Now, what have we learned thus far? First, move indoors immediately. Second, close and lock all windows and doors to provide a tight seal. And third, turn off anything that might move air into or out of the house. In fact, anything that might circulate air should be turned off. Now, the fourth step is very important. Everyone should go into one room of their home or workplace and seal that room tightly.
I'm going to call the school. No, that'll just tie up the phone lines.
Oh, you're right. Scott will be okay there. The schools know what to do. Come on, we need to get into a smaller room. Didn't we decide the master bedroom?
Yeah, that's where I put the box.
Oh, the box. That's right. You put it in here?
Yeah, I put it under the bed.
Oh.
Right there.
Oh, here it is. Oh, you put all this together?
Well, sure. That's what they suggested doing. You see, the plastic and the tape are for sealing up the windows and the doors, and the rest is good stuff to have around, just in case.
All right. I'll tape the door.
And I'll get some wet towels and help seal up the bottom of the door.
Good idea.
Honey, don't forget the vent in the bathroom.
Okay, I'll get it.
Report from the Office of Emergency Management. Again, residents in the affected area should remain indoors until the all-clear is given. We want to remind you to keep tuned to this station for more information and announcements. Cancel normal programming until the all-clear is given, and we'll continue to update you on the situation. We're now going to repeat for you the steps of shelter in place that you should be following. First, move indoors. Close all windows.
Now, the fifth step of shelter in place is also very important. Turn on your radio and tune to your local emergency broadcast system. That was one of the first things Mike and Darlene did. It let them know what was going on and what they should be doing. The radio will give you important information and instruction concerning the emergency and tell you what action you should be taking. You'll find information on which stations to tune to in the packet that came with this video.
Okay, right. Thanks. I'll get back to you.
Yeah, Keith, as I was saying, we've got the pilot.
Local officials may instruct you to shelter in place, or they may call for an evacuation of your area. If an evacuation is called for, it's important that you understand where to go and what routes to take. Knowing what to do and when to do it is your best protection during any emergency. So, there you have the 5 basic steps of shelter in place. Now let's go over some of the things Mike and Darlene did as they sheltered in place in their home. Notice how Darlene took the time beforehand to prepare the kit with all the items that were needed. Shelter-in-place emergencies don't last long, a few hours at most. You just need some basic items. It's important to pick a room in your house or business ahead of time. In Mike and Darlene's case, their master bedroom provided an ideal location, and the bathroom just off the bedroom provided them with a source of water. Another thing, in extreme cases, breathing through a wet cloth or even standing within the spray of a shower can provide added protection. Now, storing some clear plastic containers filled with water is always a good idea. And remember to replace the water now and then. Now, notice how Darlene had pre-cut the plastic sheeting so that it fit the windows and the bathroom vent. She even labeled them. Good idea. Oh, and one more thing. Mike and Darlene already had a very nice clock radio in their bedroom. But remember, Darlene had placed a portable battery-operated radio inside the shelter-in-place kit. It's another good idea. The clock radio's fine, unless the electricity fails. It's nothing expensive or fancy, just a dependable source of information equipped with fresh batteries. You need to stay inside your closed room until the all-clear is given. Then, when the emergency's over, open all doors and windows and go outside until your house or workplace is well ventilated. Some chemicals may get into your closed structure through small cracks and openings. That's why it's important to go outside and air out your house or workplace after the emergency's over. Oh, yeah. And what about Chuck, their neighbor, the guy that went fishing? Make no mistake, it's best to shelter in place in your home or office. However, if you're caught outside or away from an ideal location, your vehicle can provide an emergency shelter. Get into the vehicle immediately and roll up all windows tightly. Shut the motor off to avoid drawing outside air into the vehicle. Turn off heating or cooling systems and close all vents. If you're caught in the open or in an area that doesn't seal well, breathing through a damp cloth can be helpful. And be sure to turn on your radio and listen for instruction. Stay with your vehicle until the all-clear is given or until you're instructed to move to an evacuation center.
Every spring, the same thing.
Honey, why don't you just take it into town and have it worked on?
No, I'll get it.
Well, like I said, it's a fairly normal day here on the Kenai. People are out in their yards, catching up on spring chores, others going about their jobs, and some are making sure emergency plans are ready and available. And if there were a chemical emergency, would Mike and Darlene know what to do? Well, Mike seems to know the plant alarm system, and that's important. If you live near the plant and you hear a signal continuously, be aware there may be a chemical emergency. Now, this alarm system will be tested weekly. That's normal, and you shouldn't be worried if you hear it for a short period of time. The key is if the alarm sounds continuously for a sustained period of time. That's the warning you need to be aware of. Then, check your radio for information. Now, let's go over the 5 steps of shelter in place once more. First, move inside immediately. Next, close all windows and doors. Third, turn off ventilation systems. Now, this includes any other device that might move air into, around, or out of your home. Fourth, go into and seal a room. Now, this should be a pre-selected area, one that contains your kit and needed supplies. Last, and very important, turn on your radio. This is your link to the outside world, the way that you'll receive the information that tells you what to do and when it's safe to go outside again. Now, this box and this reminder list play an important part in your shelter-in-place plan. Now, take the time now to complete the kit. You'll find suggestions and instructions on outfitting your kit, along with other useful information inside the box. Now, in time, you might forget some of these 5 steps of shelter-in-place. That's where the kit and the reminder list comes in handy. As long as you know where this list and this kit are kept, and as long as the kit is ready to use, that's what's really important. So would Mike and Darlene know what to do in a chemical emergency? Sure. They've taken the time to pre-select a room to shelter in, they've outfitted their kit properly, and they know where to find the information that will help them successfully shelter in place. And, like you, they watched the video. And I wonder if he checked the gas.
Honey, have you checked the gas?
It's got gas.